It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and a revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Lionel Green, Esquire, by the way, someone I happen to know for many, many years. So it's kind of an honor to be on this side. He used to be on this side and doing other stuff, to have him here today. And he'll be talking about, yes, sports entertainment. We talk about the importance of having law as a part of your team. So having an attorney on your small business team that can help you so much and save you so much money. What's going on, Dr. Lionel Green? How are you?
Dr. Shay Brown, you a PhD at late night talk shows, man. I'm doing great, man.
Thank you, man. I certainly appreciate that. And for folks that are watching right now, before we get into all the legal mumbo jumbo, which I don't even understand, they're probably got a big question on the hand. Probably want to know from Lionel's perspective, Dr. Lionel's perspective. We'll get into his background in a little while. Why are small businesses hesitant to really bring on an attorney on their team when they're first getting started? Now, I think the obvious answer is they don't have any money, but what's your view of the world?
Well, that's the number one reason, because they uh, think that it's so important, so expensive that they can't afford an attorney. Um, so I think that's what's really stopping them, by thinking that they can't afford an attorney when you really can't afford not to have one on your team. Um, so that slows down business, that slows down product, that slows down the growth when you don't have the right team members. And an attorney, most definitely, is one of the right team members you need as a small business.
And I hear someone up there jumping up and down and saying, Shay, because we have two type of folks that are watching right now. There are one group of folks that are starting a business and others that are in business. And the fundamental question they probably got is like, I don't have the money, Shay. If I had the money, I'd bring the guy aboard. So why don't I just wait till I have the money to bring him on? Now, this is probably an unfair question, but what are the, I don't want to say risks, because I know you might get technical, but why not wait till I have the money to bring someone like an attorney aboard on the team? Because maybe business is not coming in right now. Maybe business is slowed down. I've got a lot of ideas. So what's the question? I don't have the money. Why should I go ahead and make the provisions to still bring the person aboard now?
Well, I always tell people, you if you don't ask, you never know. And you'll be surprised how many young attorneys who have the knowledge, who would just want to be part of your team if they believe in what you're doing. Um, I think you should try to bring them as a part of your team versus outside counsel. Uh, if they're part of the team, for one, they might not charge you as much. They might see that uh, you're not making any money, and when you start making money, then you take care of them. It's a lot of attorneys like that. I did it. So
Hmm.
yeah, so I think you need to sort of make them part of your team versus I need to hire you as outside counsel.
Now, what are your thoughts on someone saying, is this a good time to give up a percentage of my LLC? They're not really making any money. Is this a time to maybe offer 5% or 2% or 3% or something, and structure the person in the deal, or to at least maybe bring them on board as a retainer or something of that nature?
Well, if you have the money to bring an attorney on as a retainer, most are going to charge you anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000, and that retainer will last you for maybe 8 hours. So I would rather give you, right now I'm making 100% of nothing. So I'd rather give you 5 or 10%, uh, really nothing until I start making some money. And like I said, it's a lot of attorneys that will, especially the younger ones, they'll come on and be like, okay, yeah, I believe in what you're doing. I'll be part of the team. And when we start making money, then, I get my cut.
Gotcha. So they're on at least understanding what's going on, maybe to get some guidance. But then when you hit the first hiccup or first challenge, then someone is there and already has some of the institutional knowledge. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yeah, you don't want to get, the time to get an attorney is not when you're in trouble. It's sort of like physical therapy. You don't really want to start going to physical therapy when you already popped your knee out. So you get it to preventative measures, and that's what attorneys do, and that's what you should do. You should have your attorney. I believe we talked about it prior, and your tax guy, your CPA. Those things, those people are part of the team in order for your business to grow, especially as a small business. So you got to have these entities in order for your business to start growing. Without them, you're a one man show, and it's hard to do it with just you when you don't know the ins and outs of accounting, when you don't know the ins and out of the law. So it's best to try to get those entities to be a part of the team.
Now, we have a number of folks that are dualpreneurs that are watching as well, by the way. And ladies and gentlemen, he didn't give me any questions, so I get to ask whatever questions I want. Isn't that kind of cool? So I'm imagining you're me right now, and you're out there watching, and you're probably like, okay, Shay, got the whole thing about the money part, and we'll get into his background. You'll figure out who this guy is in a minute. Some of you have already Googled him. I got it, by the way. And some of you have already reading his bio. I understand that. But you might be wondering, and let me frame it for Dr. Lionel here. A good number of folks are dualpreneurs, working a full-time job. They're a full-time entrepreneur, got opportunities at work where they've got heavy responsibilities at work, but they also got a desire to be an entrepreneur. And they may be wondering, Shay, every time I'm talking to someone about one of my creative ideas, is that the time for them to have to sign an NDA? I mean, should I have, every time I'm talking to someone, I'm always afraid that I'm telling them some things I'm doing, what I'm up to, what my plan is. Does everyone need to sign something like that? And this is a general conversation, ladies and gentlemen, so it's not applied to every little detail, but maybe Dr. Lionel can frame it for us, because that does come up often. Hey, Shay, I'm meeting with them. Should they be signing this? And I'm like, slows down the process. So question, what are some parameters around when someone should be signing this NDA thing?
Well, let me tell you, man, I'm sort of on the fence about NDAs because I've had people sign them and they stole my ideas. I've had people not sign them and they didn't steal my idea. So my take is, if in order for you to get it out there, you got to tell somebody. I don't want to say who took my idea from me, but they signed the NDA. I sent them a video of what could be next in the sports world. They sent me back my video opened and told me, "Oh, we can't comment on this because it didn't come from an attorney." At the time, I wasn't an attorney, so I said, "Well, you knew I wasn't an attorney when I sent it to you, so why is it open?" And then the next thing I know, who got next was a commercial.
Wow.
So yeah, so the NDA is a piece of paper. And and there's loopholes around those. I mean, if somebody was to say, "Oh, I had that same idea," then you're sort of short. So it depends, man. It does slow up the process, but then you gotta realize who you're dealing with when you're doing an NDA. There's
Now,
doers.
one of the things I think is important, and now you answer the question NDA, and is when it comes to contracts and agreements, one of the things I think is great to have an attorney aboard and want your input is when you sign these customer contracts or customer agreements and doing work, then at least someone could review it. I know some people think, well, Shay, I can just go to AI and they'll print one out for me tomorrow. Got it. Some people think I can just download a template. Got it. But the benefit of having someone review that is it may be easier to critique than it is to create, one. And two, they can look for what he mentioned it earlier. Some of the loopholes or areas that might not be in your favor. Take a moment and talk about the importance of having those agreements. I didn't have when I started. I was happy just to be making money. And then I had my first $25,000 refund, by the way. And that's a lot of money. That was 5 years ago before COVID. And we had, a contract, a little standard thing. But there were some things that I didn't quite understand. And so as a result, they had made changes. And so I was still liable. So that's just my story. I know some of y'all have perfect stories. You've never done anything. Your company's perfect. That's fine. So I want you to talk about the importance of having an attorney review a contract, especially when you're delivering services that someone has to agree with. It could be subjective to creativity. And that's the loop part.
Okay. I just came from a conference, mediation and arbitration conference. And one of the questions was, everything's changing. Why isn't the language of the law or attorneys changing so that everybody can understand it better. Well, that's the beauty of going to school, spending that kind of money to become an attorney. That language is for us to be able to dissect it and tell your client what it is that it's saying. So yeah, you can probably read it yourself, but trust me, there's a lot of words that if you don't know the law will trip you up. So to have an attorney read these contracts to you, especially when it comes to uh, product and services and names and you want somebody to read those in depth so they can tell you exactly what you're signing, exactly what you think AI wrote for you to give to somebody. So you just won't end up having to go to court. I tell people when you do an NDA, be prepared to go to court. Because people will take your stuff. They don't, and they'll say, "Oh, that's just a piece of paper." They'll take your stuff. So when you get somebody NDA on top of, I'm dealing with clients, man, different movie makers right now, and people are just taking their movies with NDAs. So be prepared to go to court. When you give somebody an NDA.
Yeah, and one of the reasons we want to have Dr. Lionel on today is why one especially is sports and entertainment, right? And some of you that are watching right now, I'm gonna let him take a moment, tell a little about his backstory and who he is and how he got to where he is. It's important for many of you because you're maybe what I would call in the self-education industry, or you're in a creative space and you're in the space where you want to make sure that your stuff is protected, or at least at a place where there's a barrier if someone decides they want to step over the line, right? It's one thing that they say they're going to do it anyway, but we're not going to make it easy for them. It's like my car. I'm not going to leave my car unlocked to make it easy for them, okay? But take a moment. Tell me your background, man. Who are you? What's the backstory? They're all curious. Like, who is this
Yeah,
guy?
yeah. Well, my name's Lionel Green. I played a couple of years of pro football in Canada. I negotiated my own contract. Wasn't much, but I was able to do that coming out of the military. Also, uh, been in the music industry for over 30 years now. It's hard saying that, but yeah, 30 years. And my wife and I are gospel singers. So we won awards, Stellar Awards, nominated for Grammy Awards. Done some music for like the Power Rangers TV series. Um, I produced my son Leo Rush, who's a WWE wrestler. Now he's with AEW. I produced his music, negotiated his contracts for him. So I've done a lot, and this is all before I became an attorney. So my backstory is that I always had to tell the attorneys what to do to take care of me and my wife, me and my son, just all of the music and entertainment things or sports that I've been a part of for years. So that's what I do. I'm a retired Army man, so I do a lot in the community of military. I help people get their disability in military situations, and I'm a mediator and arbitrator. I love doing that as a living, along with WBGR Sports and Entertainment Network. We're a media company that pre-COVID we had over 190 weekly shows, which was amazing in the podcast business. So still doing well, but nowhere near where we was pre-COVID. But that's who I am.
Yeah, well, congratulations, man. And the burning question on everybody's mind has to be, Shay, can you give us two or three things that we should look for when we're looking to bring on an attorney? Because hopefully all of you are saying, yeah, I need to do it. But, I can always go do a search and say, well, here are three things to look for in an attorney. But I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't even know if that's even true or not. So here's someone that is an attorney. Here's someone who's been on both sides of the table as an entrepreneur. So he sat in your seat and now he's done it
Yeah.
for other folks. So if you had to say, hey, Shay, let me give you the bumper sticker version. Let me give you 1, 2, and 3 things that folks should look for when they're bringing on an attorney. What would it be?
Well, the first thing is the attorney must know you can't. For instance, they have to know your field of what it is that you're doing. You can't be in the entertainment industry and hire a criminal attorney. The criminal attorney most of the time has to keep his mouth shut and stay secretive. When you need somebody for an entertainment attorney to be talking all the time, like Shay just said, I've been on both sides. I'm a Billboard, number one Billboard recording artist. So I know the music industry. I've gotten to the level of professional sports. I know the sports industry. Wrote media contracts. So just know the number one thing is that attorney must be knowledgeable in what it is that you're trying to portray for your business. Number two, they got to be accessible to you. You can't get an attorney that you can never catch up to. Um, my phone is my door. My phone is always on. So get somebody who you can communicate with. And then third, it has to be a relationship. It can't be just a call me when you're in trouble. So it has to be a relationship because you got to be on the same page. So those are the top three things I would look for.
Yeah, well said, by the way. And everyone is out there. The number one goal, if you don't have someone that's an attorney, is start the process today. I know it's the old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? Yeah, 10 years ago. When's the next best time to plant a tree? Now. So
Hey,
start the
yeah.
process now. It will save you so much pain and headache. And I get that. Dr. Lionel, we have a segment here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks that are watching for the very first time, you can go ahead and we want to welcome you to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Thank you so much. Today is our January 1st is our personal mantra. And then those folks who watch every night, you can go and say those magical words. I know you wait to say those words. It's okay. You can say those words. Today is my January 1st. And what it means to all the new folks is it represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or some of you, how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. So my question for Dr. Lionel on the other side is two parts. One, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, what was a time maybe there was a challenge for you? There was some setback. Maybe your life's been perfect. We're going to find out now. But there was some setback. There was some challenge. And how were you able to recover and bounce back from it?
Well, my January 1st was in, I told you that WBGR was pre-COVID was doing amazing. Was probably doing about 200,000 a month in just shows. Um, and then I'm gonna say pre-COVID hit. We start seeing something. It was a change in the atmosphere, and March 20th was my January 1st, um, and I knew something had to change, and didn't know exactly what it was. We start losing shows left and right. I said something has to change, and it wasn't. And then, like Shay said, when's the best time to plant a tree? Yeah, 10 years ago. But after that, now. So I already had finished 1 year of law school, and so my January 1st was March 20th of 2020. I said I'm going back to law school. You know, I know it's going to take. I need another 2 years, um, but I need to do something that's going to change. And it's funny because I made a post about this the other day. I need to do something that was going to change not only my situation, but the situation of everybody coming behind me, my kids, my grandkids, give them something else to latch on um, to live their life by. So prior to that, I've graduated. I got 7 degrees, Shay, and the reason why I have that many degrees is because I had to show my kids, stop telling them, get your homework done, do good in school. My wife and I made the determination when they was in 8th grade, we're gonna go back to school together and we're gonna graduate. We're gonna keep graduating with our kids, which I did. So I ended up having 7 degrees to show them that you got to get your grades right. I'm going to do it. You're going to see me sitting at the table crying and whining, just like you are. But I'm gonna get these degrees. So March 20th was my uh, January 1st. I knew I had to do something different um, while I'm still doing the WBGR network. Uh, Adding the law component to it is amazing. It changed my life. It changed my family's life. It changed my grandkids, the way they look at me and know that here's some legacy stuff, granddaddy doing. So I think they all want to be attorneys now. I hope that's the case. Yeah,
I love it, man. Congratulations to you. It takes dedication, it takes a lot of hard work to do the things that you're doing. I remember when I had the opportunity to come into your studio many, many, many years
yeah,
ago. I was a young man back then, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I had a little hair on my head, and and he was back there then, had his studio, had his setup,
yeah,
and man, it was like first class stuff. I was not
yeah,
expecting that when he told me the building is, and I was like, all right, WOL building, go down 30, okay. But when you walk in, it's an amazing location. It was just incredible, and I did the recording. That was back when you would burn CDs. Some of you don't know anything about that, by the way. But you had to record, and they take the recording, then they burn a bunch of
exactly,
CDs, and you leave out here
exactly.
with a bunch of CDs. Man, and the guy's still doing some cool stuff today, which is communication. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. One of the questions I love to ask when I get time, and we have a little time now, which is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I always frame it for the audience so they know I'm not asking you to come off the mountaintop with the 10 commandments, but you've had a lot of school. You've had
Yeah,
a lot of mentors. You probably watch more videos you can probably ever remember. The number
yeah,
of hours you watch now, and how many books. I don't know if you read books anymore, but reading books and between listening to audios, it's well over 100,000 plus hours, I'm sure. But what's
yeah.
one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given that you like to share with the audience, and why?
Well, my grandfather told me years ago when I was playing football, and then when I got into the music industry, he says, grandson, you're gonna be famous before you get rich. So you have to keep putting in the work until the finances catch up with the fame. And I think that's what kept me going, Shay, for so many years, man. It's just I need my finances to catch up with my fame. Um, you know, in the music industry, uh, just trying to, we always one you want to either get a Grammy award, you want to be number one on Billboard, or you want to be interviewed on Rolling Stone magazine. I think once I got my Billboard plaque, I was like, I did it. I'm through. I'm part of history. But that was some good advice. My grandfather told us. You got to continue to put in the work. And that's what I have turned over and told my son. You're going to be a lot more famous than you are financially wealthy. And trust me, I know firsthand on that because he's still in my pockets. You know.
Yeah, I know. I know the feeling. I always say they get more expensive as they get older, buddy. They really,
Yeah.
really do. McDonald's looks awful good these days. Happy
Yes.
Meals
Yes.
all
It
you
does.
want, son. It's a lot different.
Yeah.
As you step back and you look, what is it you enjoy most about what you're doing these days, man? I mean, what you sound like have a lot of fun. I hear the energy. I hear the pride for the family and everything. But what do you enjoy about it? Because you could be doing a whole lot of things with the time and talent that you have these days.
Shay, man, the thing is, and I say this, not being conceited about it or anything. I'm a retired military soldier. I'm 100% disabled from the military. Um, I'm vested in the Canadian Football League. I've got um, royalties coming in from our records. We recorded 10 projects, so I really don't have to do anything. But so what do I really enjoy, man? Because I've been so much of a sports dude and putting on sweatsuits and expensive sweatsuits, but putting on sweatsuits every day, going to work out. Man, I love getting up, putting on a suit. I love putting on a suit and walking in court. And I've been on, you said about how I've been on both sides of the media game. I've been on both sides of court as well. So going into court and being respected for being on this side of it versus, asking the judge for forgiveness is a major thing for me, man. So I really enjoy helping people with it, with the mediation, with an arbitration. I don't litigate. That's not my thing. I like to be in a win-win situation and have my clients in a win-win situation. So I enjoy mediation, I enjoy arbitration, and I enjoy putting on my suit and going to court. That's what I really enjoy doing.
Ah, man. Well, sounds like you're having a lot of fun. I'm glad you're doing the things that you do. What do you do for fun, man? We're not out saving the world. We're not out putting on a suit, man. We're not out going into court and being able to mediate and make things happen. What do you do for fun these days?
Well, I love swimming. You know, we've got a pool built in the backyard that we're able to thoroughly enjoy. Have friends and family over. I enjoy that. I enjoy my grandkids. That's what I do for fun. But my son asked me. He said, "Daddy, when are you going to retire?" I said, "Well, I've been retired since 1990." He said, "No, you haven't." I said, "Yeah, retirement is doing what you want to do." So I've been doing what I want to do ever since I started working for the government in 1990. You know, when you came to the studio, early 90s, I was recording. That's what I wanted to do. I want to record. I like recording other people. I like seeing people make it and whatever they're trying to do. So that's retirement for me. What I'm doing now is retirement. You know, WBGR Law is my company. You know, I work when I want to work, and if I don't, you know, I go swimming.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that is so cool. Well, let me say as we come down the home stretch, number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days? Because you have a really good niche. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? If they want to stay in this conversation over and beyond today, what's the best ways for folks to connect with you?
Well, let me ask the first question. Because I'm well versed in the law on many different levels, I really enjoy collecting royalties for actors, singers, anybody that's been in the sports entertainment arena. If you think that you um, are due some royalties that you didn't collect, or the record labels or the companies didn't pay you, I go after those. We've collected millions of dollars in royalties in 2024 alone, and still doing so. So anybody that's in the music industry, sports industry, entertainment industry as a whole, I love doing that. If you need mediation, you know, I think I have the ability to listen, reasonably facilitate conversations between two people. So mediation, arbitration, you know, royalty recovery, divorce, you know, I do that as well. So anything in those arenas, anything to do with a contract, you know, those are the type of clients that we serve on WBGRlaw.com. So you go to WBGRlaw.com and you can keep in contact with me on that level. And my phone number's there. You know, like I said, I always pick up the phone. Email is there, info@WBGRlaw.com. Or you can come to the media, you know, company WBGRnetwork.com.
Wow. Well, let me say two things. Let me say thanks a lot for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, man. We can't wait to have you back.
Yes, sir, man. Shay, man, you know I love you, man. I appreciate what you're doing for the community. You're adding value to our people. You know, mad value you add to our culture, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you for tuning in as the audience. Without you, there is no show. So we appreciate every time you show up. Yeah, it's pretty cool when you hit the like button when you get to watch it live or watch it where you're online. But it's even more important when you hit that share button, when you pay this message forward to another community and they get the benefit from this. So thanks so much for tuning in. I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as you're watching right now that you're amazing. You're a game changer. You're a world changer. You're someone that's very special. And no matter what's going on in your life, what you're going through, or how brilliant things are, today is, in fact, your January 1st. And because of just that one reason, I believe your best is still yet to come. They haven't seen it yet. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. I hadn't changed. The Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Talk to you later, Dr. Lionel. We out here, everybody. Peace.